Welcome back, everybody. I'm Megan Kelly. That news conference was remarkable, with the authorities not giving us new information in terms of what exactly happened, but giving us a lot of new information in terms of the details. We have known that 14 people were killed. Tonight we learned that 12 of them were county employees. We have known now that 21 were injured. 18 of those were county employees. They set the scene inside that room for the first time. That 91 people were invited, 75 to 80 present when the gunmen showed up. It was a Department of Public Health event. They were starting out with business in the morning, transitioning to a Christmas party. There was a Christmas tree inside the room. Christmas trees on all the tables. They were trying to have a celebration of Christmas. Instead, 23 days before Christmas, 14 of them would die. The police officer you just heard from at the end, Lieutenant Mike Madden, who was the first responder, talked about how they trained for this, but they could never imagine what actually happened. They're trained to experience sensory overload, but it was that and more. He said it was immediately evident upon arriving at the scene that the reports they had been hearing of an active shooting situation were true. Victims who were obviously dead outside the conference room. The situation inside the conference room, he said, was surreal. Talking about the smell of gunpowder, the fire alarms going off, the sprinklers going off, the people wailing in pain who were suffering, those down the hall who were terrified, not knowing what was happening or whether there were more shooters, and his effort to coax them to come to the police, and how it took the courage of one person to actually come forward, and then that opened the floodgates of the people who knew these police would protect them. And protect them they did. You heard the bit at the end. There was no manifesto found on site. There had been a question about that. And we're looking at video on screen right of the police escorting people out of the building. Have you seen this tape yet? You hear what the cop says?
Thank you. Thank you. Try to relax. Everyone try to relax. I'll take a bullet before you do. That's for damn sure. Just be cool, okay?
Relax. I'll take a bullet before you do. That's for damn sure, okay? Tonight we've learned the identities of the 14 people murdered by their coworker and his wife during the Christmas party. The youngest victim, 26 years old. The oldest, 60. Police have also revealed that this crime was anything but spontaneous, saying the killers had a huge assortment of weapons and a virtual bomb factory at their home. Still, we don't know whether it was terror. Police say this evil husband and wife couple fired off some 75 rounds at their victims inside of the Christmas party conference room. They left 3 rigged together pipe bombs at the party with a remote-controlled detonating device that apparently malfunctioned. They fired another 76 rounds at the cops during a fierce gun battle. They had more than 1,600 rounds of unused ammunition in their rented SUV when police killed them. Meantime, at a family home, police found 12 pipe bombs, tools for making more, and an additional 3,000 rounds of ammunition. All of this, combined with their use of tactical gear, makes it clear this couple was ready to kill, and the carnage could have been much worse. In moments tonight, we will be joined by Dr. Sebastian Gorka, who provides counterterrorism training to the FBI, and by former Islamic extremist Majid Nawaz. But we begin tonight with Trace Gallagher reporting from San Bernardino, California. Trace?
And Megan, now the police have confirmed to the Associated Press that Saeed Farouk was in fact watching ISIS propaganda online and was in fact in contact with people the FBI had under investigation for terrorism. The next step is for them to find out exactly how deep these contacts were. Were these people, these groups, involved in any type of planning? The FBI has long said this was a very well-planned event. The question now is, was there any outside planning? Did these suspects have any training? Were they getting any funding? And those answers might come in some of the evidence that was taken out of the home of the killers over the past 24 hours. We have seen all kinds of electronic equipment coming out. We're talking about computers and cell phones, and experts say that would give police some type of idea of exactly when these conversations were going on, how long they were going on, and maybe how long the planning stage might have lasted. Because the firepower you just listed, Megan, was so extensive, police were actually concerned, or at least convinced, that this might not have been the original target, that the Christmas party wasn't the original target, and that somehow the killers got off track, and they were planning for a much bigger attack, and they certainly had the firepower to do so. But we have also learned that in the weeks before this attack, there was a confrontation between Saeed Farouk and one of his co-workers. The co-worker was deeply devout Christian, and there was an argument between them that got very heated, says the co-worker's wife, about Islam, about whether Islam was a peaceful religion. That co-worker was among the 14 who were shot and killed. I just want to, for the viewers who missed that amazing press conference at the top of the hour, Megan, it started right before the Kelly File went on the air. And for those who didn't see it, Lieutenant Mike Madden, he grew up here in San Bernardino. He's not even a street cop anymore. He's an administrative cop. He was on his way to lunch when he got the call, and he said he had to go in, and he said it really summed it up, saying that, look, these people were celebrating Christmas, and the next thing you know, they were dealing with death. I'm not sure if we have the soundbite, but we have Mike Madden. I want you to hear what he said right at the top of the news conference. Listen to this.
I'll tell you that it was something that, although we trained for it, it's something that you're never actually prepared for. It was unspeakable, the carnage that we were seeing, the number of people who were injured and unfortunately already dead, and the pure panic on the face of those individuals that were still in need and needing to be safe.
And in every tragedy, there is irony. There were 14 people who were killed, Megan. 6 of them were women, 8 were men. One of the men was the father of 6. One of the women had escaped as a child Islamic extremism in Iran. And finally, we should note that police are very interested in this trip that Saeed Farouk took to Saudi Arabia in the early spring. Megan.
We are learning a lot more about him today as well. Trace, thank you. The trip to Saudi Arabia, the trip to Pakistan. He was apparently born to 2 Pakistani parents, as was his wife. And the wife is a whole story unto herself. We'll get to her in a minute. The FBI is now taking